Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand, al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, and you're listening to...
The Promo Show!
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the Promo Show. How are you doing out there, friends? Coming to you 15 minutes earlier than usual with the live show today. I did let everybody know on my social media, and thank you, Vero, Pedro, and the rest of the people that are in the chat for being here. I appreciate you, friends. Why earlier today? Well, because today they decided to take photographs, corporate photographs, the worst kind of photographs. You know, I know immediately what they're going to say. Don't you own an iron at home? ¿No tienes una plancha? And my response to that is, no, I do not. True story. Don't own an iron. Never have. Don't intend on buying one. But I do have a jacket to put on over this creased shirt. Isn't it just an exercise in vanity? What actual purpose does the corporate photographs solve? Really? You know what I mean? Is there any client out there going, I wasn't going to buy from you, pero mira que guapos. Look how handsome you look on that photo. I've changed my mind. I'm going to invest $100,000. Whatever. Guys, we have an amazing episode of the Probo Show coming up today. In the second half of the show, I ask 100 humans to name something that is associated with a princess in a fairy tale. To name something that is associated with a princess in a fairy tale. Nombra algo relacionado con una princesa de cuento. Would you say cuento de hadas? Cuenta de hadas? Is that masculine or female? I don't know. So name something that's associated with a princess in a fairy tale. In Complete the News, sorry, we're going to... Oh, wow. I actually have two of the best Complete the News stories I have ever had. These are so great. One of them is about a Delta flight that was forced to turn around. So a flight by the company Delta that was forced to turn around because of something. And the other is a fake sign that appeared on a beach in Chicago. I don't know if we're going to have time for both of them, but if we do, believe me, you're going to enjoy them both. You look smarter than you really are, says Vero. Excuse me? What? Elves. Don't encourage that. Come on, I'm a smart guy. Kind of. Maybe. And then in the first part of today's show, we have quite a controversial, unpopular opinion today that seemed to be, when I first posted it, dancing between true and false. Today's unpopular opinion is cars, should not be able to pass the speed limit. Los coches no deberían sobrepasar el límite de velocidad. Or if you prefer it to be phrased like this, speeding should not be illegal. It should be impossible. We'll get into this argument in a little while. Oh, nivelazo. Thank you.
Será posible. Vaya nivelazo.
When you say nivelazo, I give myself a nivelazo. That's how that works. Speeding should not be illegal. It should be impossible. It should be impossible. It's something that I've thought from a very, very early age, and I just find it the weirdest thing that they make cars that can break the law. I don't know. Anyway, so that's coming up later on. Right now, guys, I'm here, you're here. Let's see what's going on in the world. Oh my gods. Let's dive into some science news, shall we? We've got science, entertainment, and tech today coming up for you on the menu. So scientists discover, this is from sciencealert.com. Scientists discover an amazing practical use for leftover coffee grounds. Scientists discover an amazing practical use for leftover coffee grounds. Científicos descubren un sorprendente uso práctico para los restos de café molido. Oof. God, I'm just gonna...
Será posible. Vaya nivelazo.
The translation elf is working overtime today. So yeah, researchers in Australia have found a novel use for leftover coffee grounds. Apparently, this is mind-blowing for me. Apparently, it can strengthen concrete By processing and adding charred coffee grounds to concrete, its strength can be enhanced up to 30%, which is not just a bit, that's a lot. 30% increase in tensile strength. Annually, around 10 billion kilograms of coffee waste is generated worldwide, and that is just in my house. True story. Okay, where were we? The majority ending up in landfills, releasing greenhouse gases like methane and carbon dioxide. The team addressed this issue by heating the coffee waste to over 350 degrees centigrade in a low oxygen environment, a process known as pyrolyzing. There you go. This transforms the grounds into a carbon-rich substance called biochar, and it increases the strength of concrete by up to 30%. Big deal. Wait, isn't it great that science is actually working on useful things? Yesterday we talked about a piece of news about scientists wanting to conceive a baby in space. When I say it like that, it kind of sounds like they're unable to conceive a baby on Earth. But that's not the thing. It's for when we colonize other planets. Okay, whatever, science. So there you go. That coming from sciencealert.com. Okay, let's move on. Well, we've spoken about AI and how AI will eventually, or may eventually, cover a lot of jobs, right? The sad truth is, guys, while we slave away 8-hour days pushing buttons, AI is writing poetry and making great works of art. Something's wrong in the world, right? But eventually they will intersect. There'll come a point where robotics and artificial intelligence intersects. And when that intersect happens, it practically makes all of us defunct. It kind of makes all of us a little irrelevant. But how far along are we in the process of humanoid robots? Well, ladies and gentlemen, meet Apollo. This coming from Axios.com. Humanoid robots are starting to work side by side with actual people in warehouses for the first time, moving heavy boxes and containers. This coming from Axios.com. Meet your new colleague, Apollo, the humanoid robot. I have no idea how you say humanoid in Spanish. Translation elf. Conoce a tu nuevo colega Apollo, el robot humanoide. Thank you, translation elf. Humanoid robots are starting to work side by side. It's happening, guys. That intersect is happening. The article discusses the introduction of humanoid robots into warehouses, focusing on a new all-electric model named Apollo, developed by an Austin-based startup, Apptronic. Apollo is designed to work alongside humans, performing tasks like lifting heavy boxes. The robot stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighs 160 pounds, and can lift up to 55 pounds. Wow, pretty incredible, right? It can operate for 4 hours before needing a battery recharge. How long does it take to charge one of those batteries, is my question. You know? Because if robots are writing poetry, painting art, and only working, or making art, and only working 4 hours a day, they literally have the life that I want. This week, so far, it's Wednesday. I've already done 36 hours of work. I want to go to sleep. I want to be a robot. Can I be an artificial intelligence robot, please?
That gets the Probo stamp of approval.
I want that AI life, yo. So yeah, these robots that can work 4 hours uninterrupted, lifting up to 55 pounds. Incredible, right? But, it's worrying. Why is it worrying? Something we've mentioned on the show a ton of times. It's worrying because world governments are not addressing this issue of the massive labor or work shortage that will appear in a few years. I mean, wasn't it Iceland who implemented the 4-day work week? Proved to be a massive success, right? By all accounts, great for the mental health of your employees, sure to have increased productivity, so many benefits. And what has the world done with this Icelandic experiment? They've summarily ignored it. Yeah, whatever. That's Iceland. You know what I mean? Surely we should be, as a collective, as a group, pressuring governments to address the issue. We cannot slow down, and I want to emphasize this enough. This is not a problem of technology. Technology is wonderful, making our lives easier. This is a problem, this is a governmental issue, that they're not giving people any options for the future. And if you're in this new generation, this young generation, if you're a Gen Zer, you know I love you. If you're a Gen Zer, you're probably thinking, well, what is the point of participating in the labor force when all this work is going to go away? They lied about university being the gateway to employment. What's the point? There's no job for me around the corner anyway. And, you know, it's hard to argue with that kind of bleak view on the world when we're actually seeing this. We're seeing the evidence of this take place. What government's doing? Are we implementing 4-day work weeks? Are we doing anything to count? You know, are we having a standardized minimum wage for each and every person on the planet? Which again is something that has been tested and has been shown to be a net benefit for the community. Are we doing anything? Spain, England, Europe, US. What are we doing, guys? Failing. We're failing our people. Why? Because the government doesn't care about that, friends. Governments don't care about that. Do you know what governments care about? Being elected the next election cycle. That's their objective. Right, comrades? Sorry, wrong meeting. All right, and final piece of news, as I promised, some entertainment news, friends. Rolling Stones. Do you remember those guys? The Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. They are set to launch a new album, Hackney Diamonds. Mick Jagger at the tender age of 80, Keith Richards, the tender age of 79. Thank God for these guys. Why? Because they make me feel young.
That gets the Probo stamp of approval.
So yeah, this coming from the BBC. Rolling Stones are set to release Hackney Diamonds, their first album of original songs since 2005. What's that like? 18 years ago? Jeez Louise, guys. I know you're old, but, you know, step it up a little bit. You know, the President of the United States is 80. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, 80 or approaching 80. You know, if you're in your 40s like me, this is great news. I feel like I'm in my teens right now. In a special event hosted in Hackney and streamed live on YouTube, the band announced the release of this new album. The event, hosted by Jimmy Fallon, comes after a teaser campaign that included cryptic advertisements and social media previews. The album is rumoured to feature guest stars like Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and Lady Gaga. This will be the band's first album since the death of drummer Charlie Watts in 2021. But apparently on the album they used drum tracks from Charlie Watts, which is a pretty beautiful way to honour their former colleague, I think. Okay, and that's the news for today, my friends. That's the news. Entertainment, tech and science, all the things you've come to expect from me. Let's go to today's Unpopular Opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, my friends, it's Unpopular Opinion time. You know this section, you know it very well. This is a brain fart, un pedo cerebral, un pedo mental, una rayada. I share it with you on my social media. You guys opine there, but the real decision makers are the people that join me live in the chat. Okay, so the live audience, get ready, guys. We're going to debate this. Cars should not be able to exceed the speed limit. Cars should not be able to exceed the speed limit. Or if you prefer, speeding should not be illegal. It should be impossible.
That gets the Probo stamp of approval.
I find it the weirdest thing that los coches no deberían sobrepasar el límite de velocidad. Cars shouldn't be able to pass the speed limit. This is something I remember as a child asking Grandpa Bo. Okay, my grandfather. Why is it the car can go faster than you're allowed to drive? I got an insufficient answer, quite a lot like I did on Instagram today. Because they should. I mean, I think the only answer against this is I like to drive fast. I think that's the only answer against this, and for me, friends, it's not good enough. Let's get into this. I thoroughly tortured the elves this morning. They give me some pros and cons. Okay, so in the pro column, agreeing with the statement that cars should not be able to pass the speed limit. Number 1, safety. Restricting cars from exceeding the speed limit could significantly reduce a number of speed-related accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Higher speeds give drivers less time to react to unforeseen events. I think that is basic, right? We all know that. Okay, the faster you go, the less time you have to react to something unexpected. Whether that be a car or a scooter. And I'm talking to myself here, who broke 6 ribs on his electronic scooter. Okay, the environment. Cars tend to be less fuel efficient at higher speeds, another true story, leading to greater fuel consumption and increased carbon emissions. By keeping cars within speed limits, we could reduce the environmental impact. Not as much of a prescient thing for me, but it is a valid point nonetheless. Okay, let's continue. Enforcement. If cars can't exceed the speed limit, it would reduce the burden on law enforcement agencies to monitor and penalise speeding, allowing them to focus on other pressing issues. How many resources? It's a valid question. I know you're not going to like it, but it's a valid question. How many resources are used to, I don't want to say entrap people into speeding. Okay, I don't want to say that, but that's kind of what happens. And then you have these apps where motorists warn each other when a speeding camera is close. It just seems like weird to me. Why can a car go faster than it's supposed to anyway? Speeding shouldn't be illegal, friends. It should be impossible. Okay, next, public health. Lower traffic speeds have been associated with improved air quality in urban areas, which can have positive implications for human health. All right. Now let's go on with the disagreements. With the con column, cars shouldn't be restricted from passing the speed limit. Here we go. There might be emergencies where a driver needs to exceed the speed limit momentarily, such as evading a potential threat or trying to reach a destination urgently. Look, this is a defunct argument for me, my friends. Look, so we don't restrict police, ambulances, but the speed limits are set for a reason. Am I right? I mean, someone said to me overtaking. When you need to overtake, you've got to go faster. Okay, well, all right. But I mean, if the speed limit is where it is, then surely there's you're breaking the law when you overtake, right? Anyway, let's continue. Autonomy and responsibility. Restricting cars from exceeding the speed limit could be seen as over-regulation. Taking away the responsibility from the driver, educating drivers about safe driving might be a better approach. Look, if you get a speeding ticket or if you get points removed from your license, a lot of times you have to go to driver's ed and you have to sit in classes and talk about driving and learn your driving skills over again. You have to pass a test before being able to drive. Is that working? No, because people are still speeding. Look, friends, your toaster has 10 settings, from lightly toasted to burnt. It doesn't have an 11th setting, which is set fire to your house and kill your family, right? And if it did, you may petition the manufacturer to take that setting off, right? So why do we automatically just assume, oh well, the car can exceed the speed limit? No problem. Weird. Okay, let's go. And another con, technological limitations. Implementing technology to restrict speed could be fallible. For instance, if a car system misreads a speed limit or malfunctions, it could lead to dangerous situations. Or could it? Are we not creating self-driving cars right now? Are you telling me it's impossible for some kind of geolocation that says, okay, the car cannot go over 30 miles an hour here, cannot go over 40, 50, 60. I mean, come on. Anyway, let's continue. We can put a man on the moon, but we can't enforce speed limits. Here we go. Competitiveness in the car industry. One selling point of many high-performance cars is their speed and acceleration capabilities. Limiting speed could potentially harm the automobile industry, especially luxury and sports car segments. So what we're saying is here, the douchiest people in society are going to suffer. Oh. Cry me a river, friends. Look, I'm not saying limit acceleration. If you want to go from 0 to 60 in 0.3 seconds, have at it, friends. But you want to go past 60 miles an hour, that's where I have a problem. Because we have laws for a reason. And if these laws don't really matter or are so flexible and situational, then eliminate speed restrictions. No, we can't do that. Why? Because it's dangerous. Okay, so there we have a little bit of a dichotomy in our thinking, right? It seems to me the only argument against this unpopular opinion is, I like to drive fast. And that, my friends, is not good enough. Okay, let's read some comments. I've got James, a comment from James on Instagram. James, a good friend of mine and a great person. James, in some places like the German Autobahn, speed isn't restricted. Plus, what controls it? The car's GPS to know what road it's on, the speed and its speed limit. SatNav makes enough stupid people drive into rivers without it controlling how fast they're going. Fair point.
That gets the Probo stamp of approval.
Fair point, but I doubt if there is such technology for motorists to be able to identify where speed cameras are, so they can momentarily slow down. Then I'm sure we have the technology to restrict speed on certain roads. Or how about we just limit a car to the country's top speed? You know, the Autobahn doesn't have a speed limit. So on the Autobahn, you go as fast as you want. I mean, this just seems to make so much common sense to me. If I had a pen, right, and it had 3 settings, blue ink, black ink, and murder the user, I would ask the pen company to remove the murder the user setting. You know? It just I just don't understand. And I've never understood this, and I've never had a good enough reason or explanation as to why it doesn't work. By the way, let me just turn a little attention to the chat there. We've got Eugene here. Good morning, Eugene. How you doing? Good morning, Rob. Wow. Woe is me. I was listening to the radio. No worries, Bridge. Welcome. I have a better idea. Filling in potholes is far more important. True story. Fill in the potholes, because that's how I had my scooter accident. The front wheel went into a pothole and I flew over the top, broke 6 ribs. But, you know, it was my fault. I should have been paying more attention. You know, people were saying to me, you should sue the council. I mean, come on, friends. Really? Really? Is that where we are? Suing the council? It was my fault. I should have been paying more attention. Okay, let's continue. Nessa said, it should be, or don't set speed limits because people are going to exceed them anyway. True story, Nessa. Human nature. Push the boundary as far as you can push it. And then eventually you get a speeding ticket. I'm not saying, look. If you prefer to think of it like this, then let's go for it. Speeding should not be illegal. It should be impossible. When phrased like that, it makes a little more sense, right? Okay, let's see. We read Nessa's. Let's get into Vero's here, which she's kindly put in the chat. True, if a vehicle could exceed the speed limits, there would be more traffic accidents. That would saturate insurance companies and cost the driver a lot of money if he doesn't die in the accident. Also, we should think about the families who have lost a loved one. Who heals their pain from that loss? Apart from the expenses that death entails. True story, man. True story. Okay, let's continue. I got more. Lucia says, It's not just about speed or safety. Cars going fast burn more fuel and increased carbon emissions. Something the elves covered there, thank you. Derek, I get where you're coming from, but a part of the beauty of cars is their capability. Plus, there are situations like overtaking where that extra power can be beneficial. You can't just nerf cars. To nerf something for my international listeners is to decrease its power. You can't just nerf cars because of some reckless drivers. No? How do you think laws are created, Derek? It's because some idiot breaks that, does something dangerous and they create a new law, right? Yeah, it seems to be the car industry is immune to this. Anyway, guys, I'm going to post that poll in the chat, and I'm not going to tell you. You are going to tell me, should cars be able to pass the speed limit? Shouldn't it be impossible? Friends, so many things you could have been doing today, but instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the absolute world. I will see you in a few short minutes. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @probo, PROBOH. Okay, on with the show.
The Probo Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. If you're just tuned in, welcome. You just missed. What did you just miss? So many things. We spoke about scientists discovering a really interesting practical use for coffee grounds. You know, the los restos del café. You know, the grounds that are left over when you make a coffee. Apparently, it can increase the strength of concrete by up to 30%. Amazing stuff, man. You could build a building from the coffee that I waste in the coffee grounds in my house. Unbelievable. And then we looked at Apollo, a new humanoid robot that is working side by side with warehouse workers, with a battery life of up to 4 hours. I'd like to know how long they need to be charged. If it's just like us and they have an hour break to charge, fine. If they're working 4 hours a day, literally, the tables have turned on humanity. AI and robots, they're writing stories, they're writing little poems, creating art, working 4 hours a day. That is the life that I want. And then we finally looked at some entertainment news. The Rolling Stones set to launch a new album entitled Hackney Diamonds, with guest stars such as Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and Lady Gaga featuring on the album. Interesting stuff. They sadly lost their drummer Charlie Watts a few years ago, I think in 2021. But fans of Charlie Watts can hear some drum tracks of his on the album. And there you go. That was the news, friends. And then we moved on to today's unpopular opinion, which it was: cars should not be able to pass the speed limit. Or if you prefer, speeding should not be illegal. It should be impossible, right? Let's let the police deal with more important issues, you know? It should be impossible. It boggles my mind how we invent things that break the law, you know? If the law is there for a reason, you know, it shouldn't be broken. All right, what did they say on Instagram first? I'm not going to release the results from the enlightened individuals just yet in the audience. What did they say on Instagram? Okay, they said, I made the statement, cars should not be able to pass the speed limit, and they said 60% true. For me, it's weird that it was only 60%. A nice round number. A lot of people did vote. But weird that only 60%, right? I don't know. I guess the main argument against this is just irrational. That you like to drive fast. I mean, okay, fine. Or technological. How do we make it work? I mean, look. But we in the last few years have been capable. We, the royal we, you know, us. Not us, really. The clever people. Certainly not me. Clever people have invented so many pieces of technology that have like the potential to really change the world. You're telling me it's impossible for us to restrict speeding technologically? It shouldn't be illegal, friends. It should be impossible to speed. I mean, maybe this. I mean, in all fairness, right? I do not drive. I'm not a driver. You know, maximum I've taken to the road is on a scooter, and I nearly killed myself. Yeah, so I don't drive. Which is maybe why I feel so strongly about this issue. It just seems weird to me that we've decided to just let this go. You know, no. Yeah, no. Drivers can do what they want. You know, the law is there, but the manufacturers have absolutely no blame in this issue of speeding. And I think they do. Like, it wouldn't happen with anything else. If your computer had a setting where it would blow up, right? Then you would probably, you know what I mean? You would probably reach out to the manufacturer and say, look, this is dangerous. It's illegal because it's a detonating device. So please fix it. Yet, cars can speed and break the law, and motor companies are not held accountable for it. And that is my issue. The dissonance there between other human inventions and the car. Why does the car get special compensation? I don't understand that. We went over several pros and cons with it. Safety, the environment, freeing up law enforcement, better for public health. Let's release the results of the poll, so you guys can really take the temperature of how this shook out. So I made the statement and I made my arguments for why I think cars shouldn't be able to, why it should be impossible to speed. You guys in the chat said 100% true. I bask in the glory, didn't I? Wonderful, 100% true. It only makes common sense, right? The bridge here is saying you can tell that you don't drive. Rob, I don't drive now. I have been written off, but I have driven many, many times. Once, one can tell that you don't drive. Yeah, maybe, and that's why I don't have this love affair with cars and why it's so difficult for me to understand why motor companies don't hold any responsibility for the fatalities caused by their cars. You know? I mean, it is a fatal flaw that cars can exceed the speed limit, in my mind. Sure, the individuals have their part to play in this. Okay, just because it can exceed the speed limit doesn't mean that you, as the driver of that vehicle, should. I understand that. You know? I understand that. But I think it's time that the car companies themselves took ownership of this issue, right? If they really cared about your lives. We've seen them do crash tests and things like that and implement things for the betterment of the drivers. Here I'm thinking about the seatbelt, a relatively modern invention. Al fin turon. I'm talking about airbags. Initially just in the driver's side, so the driver would survive. His family, not so much. But now everyone in the car has their own airbag, saving their life. Great. How about we stop your vehicles from being able to break the law? Isn't that something we can examine? Well, no, that's an infringement of my rights. Oh, whatever. Come on. But what about emergency situations? Okay, well, let's not restrict the speed of emergency vehicles. Are you driving an ambulance right now? Listening to this show? Probably not. Oh, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this. It just seems to make sense to me. Just because a vehicle can exceed the speed limit doesn't mean a driver should. I get that as an argument. But how is it that we regularly sit inside of vehicles that can break the law? Shouldn't that be something we address? Interesting and not very popular, unpopular opinion today, as the title would suggest. But interesting that you guys agreed 100%. Yeah. All right, guys, on that note, let's get on with today's 100 Humans. Oh my God, friends. It was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys. And on that walk, I encountered 100 humans and I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name something associated with a princess in a fairy tale. Is it cuento de hadas? O cuenta de hadas. Cuento, I think. Cuento de hadas. Nombra algo asociado a una princesa de cuento. I asked them that question. They gave me their answers. I am in possession of the top 7 answers right here. Your job in the chat, my friends, is to identify those top 7 answers. Name something associated with a princess in a fairy tale. Oh, you shouldn't talk about princesses. That's so last century. Leadership. Come on. Okay, Vero says a crown. A crown, a golden crown. Something associated with a princess in a fairy tale. A crown. Is a crown there? Do princes wear crowns? Princes and princesses? I'm not sure. A crown. Is a crown there? You know what? I'm going to give it to you, Vero. I'm going to give it to you. A tiara is there. And I believe the Spanish translation is tiara, no? Anyway, a tiara is there, which I think is the princess equivalent of a crown. Tiara. Well done, Vero. It's there, and guess what? It's the number 1 answer. It's the number 1 answer. Vero, on fire today. Vero also says an ogre. An ogre, like Shrek. An ogre. Is an ogre there? No, it's not. Great try, but it's not there. Eugene says a pea. From the famous fairy tale, The Princess and the Pea, where she had mattresses stacked up on a pea. Could she feel it? Could she not? A pea. Is a pea there? No, it's not. Neither is, something else I see in the chat, a dragon. I'll tell you now that there is nothing in the list that is otherworldly. There's nothing like, dragons, ogres, All the things in the list are quite, reasonably realistic. Think about, where they... Oh, Vero says, I was just about to say, think about where they might live. Vero says a castle. Is castle there? Yes, it is. Well done. Castle is there. It's the 4th most popular answer with 10 of 100 humans saying a castle. Eugene says a prince. A prince. Un príncipe. I know because of the Spanish biscuits. A prince. Is a prince there? Yes, it is. Okay, now you're on fire, guys. Okay, prince is there. 2nd most popular answer with 22 of 100 humans. Okay, guys, come on. Okay, there is one answer here that derives directly from one particular fairy tale where a princess kisses an animal and it turns into a prince. What animal did she kiss? God, I am so ill-equipped for today's show. Not only do I not drive, but I don't know fairy tales, friends. Vero says a frog. Is frog there? Yes, it is. It's the 7th most popular answer with 5 of 100 humans saying a frog. A stepmother. Is stepmother there? Stepmother. What? How do you say stepmother? Madrasta? Is that right? Stepmother. Is stepmother there? No, it's not. Okay, there is another one directly from a fairy tale, where I believe the Disney version of this was Entangled, and the princess, distinctive for having something. She had one distinctive characteristic. She was trapped in a tall tower. What is it? Have you seen the movie Entangled, the Disney movie? It's actually a really great film. one of the few of these kind of Disney things that I actually really enjoyed. The bridge here says, A pea from the tail, Princess and the Pea. Rob, you thought you needed to specify? Not the Princess and the Pumpkin. Long hair. Is long hair there? Yes, it is. Well done. Long hair. It is there. It's the 5th most popular answer, with 7 of 100 humans saying long hair. Guys, you only have 2 to go. The 6th most popular answer is a chess piece. You've identified castle. But it's a chess piece. Normally highlighted in Arthurian legends. Maybe they'd sit around a table. A round table. Oh, is that a good clue? Am I playing 3D chess today? What chess piece might sit around a round table? It's not bishop, Bridge. It's not bishop. It's not bishop. What might it be? It's not king. It's one of the oddest pieces in chess because it moves 3 positions up and 1 to the side, or 3 positions to 1. Okay, Eugene and Vero both say a knight, and the bridge, a knight is there. Well done, guys. I don't understand why your princesses are naked. I don't understand. There's only one answer to go. We don't want your princess to be naked. What would a princess wear? It's a very specific kind of word in the English language. Shall I give you a clue? It's a 4-letter word. A horse, says Eugene. I don't think she'd wear a horse, funnily enough. What would a princess in a fairy tale wear? Vero says dress, and yes, I am indeed going to give her that. I was thinking about, or the 100 humans said gown. A gown. Well done. All right, guys, well done, well done. That was a hard one today. A princess wears a horse, says the bridge. Hey, don't stifle her creativity. Haven't you seen Lady Gaga? If Lady Gaga can wear bacon, then a princess can wear a horse. In my mind. Okay, let's go through the list. You guys can see it on the screen right now. Our radio podcast audience. I will go through it right now, verbally. In position. I asked 100 humans to name something associated with a princess in a fairy tale. Nombra algo asociado a una princesa de cuento. Okay, in position number 7. With 5 of 100 humans saying this, it was a frog. Rana. A frog. In position number 6. With 6 of 100 humans saying this one, a knight. A caballero. A knight. And possibly my favorite compliment in Spanish. Sí, caballero. I love it. In position number 5. With 10 of 100 humans saying this one, we had a castle. Un castillo. A castle. In position number 4. We had a gown, vestido, a gown. 13 of 100 humans said that one. In position number 3. We had gown already. Did we? Gown, vestido. In position number 2. We had a prince, un príncipe. 22 of the 100 humans said a prince, something you associate with a fairy tale princess. Good morning, Min, joining us from the Netherlands. How are you doing, my friend? And finally, in position number 1. With 35 of 100 humans, and a big congratulations to Vero, it was a tiara. Well done. My God, guys. Killing it. All right, on that note, friends, let's move on to today's Complete the News.
Complete the news.
All right, my friends, here we go. I think we have time for both of these today, which is good news because they're both excellent. So what is Complete the News? I'm going to give you a real news headline, but I'm going to leave out some important information. Your job in the audience is to identify the information that I leave out. If you are one of the many people watching the show live, but you felt up until now a little uncomfortable with expressing your opinion, this, my friends, is your moment. Because all you have to write is A, B, or C. In fact, I encourage you to only write A, B, and C in case you know the piece of news, not to give any spoilers. So here we go. Delta Airlines is, it's a company that runs flights in the United States, Delta Airlines. Okay, you've probably heard of it a million times before. So Delta Airlines, a Delta flight, is forced to turn around because of blank incident. Because of a blank incident. A Delta flight, un vuelo de Delta, obligado a dar media vuelta por un incidente blank. But what incident was it? Was it A, a diarrhea incident? Was it B, an engine incident? Or was it C, a TikTok video incident? TikTok video has been there for 3 days in a row. Is today the day where it's actually the answer? Who knows? Who knows, my friends? So a Delta flight, un vuelo de Delta, is forced to turn around, obligado a dar una vuelta, or media vuelta, because of a blank incident. Un incidente, un blank incident. What is it? What kind of an incident was it? Was it A, a diarrhea incident, B, an engine incident, or C, an incident with a TikTok video? Okay, the chat is overwhelmingly saying A. Yeah, it's unanimous, A. Yeah, que mal pensado sois. A, diarrhea. Okay, let's see if you're right. Maybe you're right. Okay, a Delta flight forced to turn around because of a... No flies on you, my friends. It was, in fact, A, diarrhea. Well done. No flies on you, but plenty of flies in the Delta flight. Wap, wap, wow. Oh, dear me. Okay, yeah, it's completely correct. Well done. This coming from, by the way, where did it come from, this news? CNN.com. A Delta Airlines flight traveling from Atlanta to Barcelona was compelled to return to Atlanta after a passenger experienced severe diarrhea on board. I shouldn't laugh. Atlanta Airport, time to take out the Taco Bell, I think. Time to just remove that restaurant. The Airbus A350, carrying 336 passengers, had to turn around over central Virginia due to the biohazard situation. Oh my God. Imagine being the poor person with diarrhea on that flight and being described as causing a biohazard. Oh dear. The plane landed back at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport about 2 hours post-departure. Although the flight was delayed by over 8 hours, it eventually reached Barcelona without any further issues. Delta apologized for the inconvenience and emphasized its commitment to passenger safety and comfort. I've been on some bad flights, friends, but imagine how bad that had to be for the flight to turn around. Obligado a dar la vuelta. Thank you, Vero. Oh my God.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
The power of diarrhea compels you, says Min. True story. Poor guy, the horror, says the bridge. All right, piece of news number 2. Here we go. This is a great one as well. Okay. A fake sign saying blank is removed from Loyola Beach, Chicago. A fake sign saying blank is removed from Loyola Beach, Chicago. So what is this? Okay, fake sign saying blank removed from Loyola Beach, Chicago. Translation elf, wake up. Retiren un cartel falso que decía blank from Loyola Beach, Chicago. But what did it say? Did it say dogs permitted? Did it say dogs permitted? Did it say danger, sharks? Or did it say C, nude beach? Did it say A, dogs permitted, se admiten perros? Did it say B, danger, sharks, peligro, tiburones? Or did it say C, nude beach, playa nudista? A, B, or C? Woo! This piece of news, in case it helps, came from blockclubchicago.org. Fake sign saying blank removed from Loyola Beach, Chicago. Was it A, dogs permitted, B, danger sharks, or C, nude beach? Okay, I will salute Min there for being the only person to say B. Is he forward thinking? Does he know? Does he have insight? He says it's danger sharks, peligro, tiburones. Everybody else seems to think it's C, nude beach. Okay. Let's get into this. Let's see who's right. No one's saying dogs permitted. All right, here we go. So here we go. A fake sign saying... The answer is... C, nude beach. Playa nudista. Oh dear, yes. True story. No, there is not a nude beach in Chicago. Fake sign removed from Loyola Beach. Coming from blockclubchicago.org. A fake sign declaring Loyola Beach in Chicago as a nude beach was recently removed by the Chicago Park District. Remember yesterday when we spoke about the scientists wanting to conceive in space? Is this them? Is this these thirsty scientists? The sign, which even included official park district seal, was spotted by beachgoers over Labor Day weekend. The local alderwoman, Maria Haddon, reported the sign for removal and declared that clothing is required at all Chicago beaches. True story. The incident is suspected to be the work of a local prankster known for installing fake government signs and marking a potential return after a period of dormancy. Dude, I want to meet this prankster. If anyone knows him or he's listening to the show, dude, I want to talk to you. You're making me laugh. Let's see. I can see that being done here. Some people don't need the signs. True story. Well, here in Europe, we don't have this big stigma around people walking around a beach topless. Much more stigmatized, I think, in the States. Which makes this all the more hilarious. Min says, I thought the same. The Greek guy being sick of the tourists and placing a shark sign there to keep them away. No. It was a nude beach. All right, my friends, that's all we've got time for on today's show. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a hell of a lot of fun and a lot of things you could have been doing today, but instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the world. I'll see you next time.